Howdy guys, welcome to part 2 of carving Wonders in Wood Wally. And this was a fun second part video to it, but you know, things happen and I'm glad I got it out because the video stopped recording a little bit through. So there's a couple minutes that aren't, you know, it's like I skipped ahead or something, but you'll figure it out. You guys are good. So guys, if you like the video, remember to like and subscribe, leave your comments. If they're ugly, I'll probably erase them, but you know, just leave some nice stuff. Anyway, remember to like and subscribe, guys, and here's part number 2 of Wonders in Wood Wally. Okay, welcome to video number 2, part 2 of Wally. So right now we're going to go ahead and work on the feet. So I look at this and I see this foot right here is a little bit bigger than this side here. So I'm going to kind of gauge this and I'm going to make sure it comes off the inside. So it'll widen this this leg just a tad bit there. That's first. So, and then I'm going to put a diagonal line on both sides. And I'm going to sketch my shoe pattern. So I'm going to go round up here and then taper back in the back, just like that. And we'll do the same thing on this side. So I'm going to round here, taper back. And I did go over that a little bit. I think it'll be okay. So I'm going to remove this excess here with the knife, and I'm going to just solid cut here. I'm not going to hack it, that way this is smooth in here and no extra hair marks that I got to dig. And that's really the key with getting in there. I don't want to create a lot of little fibers and stuff that I got to dig out and just have a hard time getting rid of. So I'm very careful the way I cut that inside of the legs. And here I'm just taking off a little bit till I get to that edge. Not trying to chunk the whole thing because I don't want it to break out. And so just nibbling at it. It's I don't have to race through this, so it's just take off a little bit as I go. Till I get to the mark that I want. So, and I'm going to take my knife through there and just remove thin slivers from the inside of the leg. Till I get to my marks. Okay, so then I'm going to do the same thing to this one. So there again, I'm starting from really low here and removing that all the way up. Just removing a little bit as I go around. So that's still pretty clean in there. There's not a lot of trash in there. Just start from the base here and work your way up. Guys, I apologize. I got a phone call or something with my phone and I thought it was still recording and it stopped. So I've got to do a little bit of catch up here. So I've done the legs. I drew a mark on both sides for the directions of the feet, and then I drew the profile of the feet, and I've got a little bit more I can take off till I hit that edge. And then with that, I took my pencil in the same angle I drew a line up the side of the pants, and that became the new center line for the pants compared to the edge that was on the block. So then I chamfered those legs down, got the butt taken care of with these long cuts into the butt area, and then tapered this end in just a little bit. And now we're working on these ears. So I've done one ear, and the way that I did these ears is I drew a little half pear shape, and then cut it straight with a knife. So I did not leave any cuts. It was square. This cut right here was square. And then I came back and did a stop cut around the whole thing, and then removed the material, and that's where I'm looking at here. Got the same thing to do here. So all I've done here is just square up the edges. I'm going to take my number 6 here, and after I leave a stop cut here, stop cut right here, so this has somewhere to stop, I'm going to take this and just dig out and push a recessed area on the top portion right above and the lobe. Now I'm going to take my knife and just kind of lightly round the edge and soften it. I'm going to take that same gouge, and I'm going to do a little indentation in the back of the ear to separate the lobe from the rest of the ear. And this is really subtle here, just a little bit of a profile there. Now we'll take our V tool and cut a recessed area on the outer edge of the ear and roll it around and stop just before the earlobe, just like that. Now I've got a number, this is a 4mm U gouge, and this is a dockyard as well, and I'm going to stamp, lay it down flat here against the wood and just raise it just a little bit, and that'll stamp the profile on there. And you can see my little ear in there. And I'm going to do the same thing for this side. And that's it there. So that's about it for that face, except for the hair. So he's looking pretty good. This video is going to be a lot shorter without all that extra footage of me cutting this, but it just makes it easier to download. So not a total waste, and hopefully you can get this caught up or figure this portion out on your own. So let's look at the pant legs. I want the pant legs to come around here like this. Just want the shoes to be under the pant leg just a tad bit, a little bit showing in the back. I'm going to use my V tool to do that, and I'm just going to rock this around here on both sides. And I'm having trouble that way, so I'm going to change directions. Yeah, I'm going to come back. Okay, so I've got a little bit of an angle there coming underneath the pants. Okay, so I'm going to work on these shoes here, and I'm just cutting in there. I'm going to roll it down a little bit on the side here. Make sure all the bandsaw marks are gone. And that shoe looks okay. So I need to make sure that this side matches this side. This one is a tad bit bigger, and I can see the difference on the bottom there where the pencil lines are. Just come in a little bit more, and we'll remove some of this. Okay. Not bad. Okay. So I want a little bit more profile between the arms and what will be the vest. So now I've done most of this with a V-tool. I can take my knife in here and I can start right here and just do one deep stop cut. And then I'm going to come back here and remove material. So that took off a whole lot in there and gave me a lot to work with here. So and I continuously am cleaning as I go, making sure things are crisp. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to do a stop cut down here and working that knife in a little bit, making it totally clean. That way you don't have to come back to it, it's done. So let's look at our shirt here, make sure we're kind of on the both sides. Okay, so now let's get our detail in here and trim this out so it's clean. This one's up a lot further than this one, so we're gonna have to come back. I like this one better, but you see how that's a lot smaller there. So let's cut this guy back. This arm looks so much better. I hate cutting it back, but the option is to cut into here a little bit more, but I don't think we have the room, so I'm gonna just even this one out. Okay, I think that'll do it. Yep. Okay, so let's get the rest of our detail in here. We're going to have the vest. We're going to have a neck. Let's do our neck. I'm going to do this straight up with a knife. So I'm just going to do a stop cut deep here. Do the same thing on this side. And then I'm going to use this knife tip and I'm going to try to match where that cut is, go in this direction. So it's kind of in an angle so that the neck ends up being round, and I'm just going to chase that cut up to the top and remove the chip. So it gave me a rounded area where this neck is right here, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And there it gave me this neck. So I'm going to remove a little bit from the bottom here to push it back into the shirt a little bit, but that's about it. So that neck looks good. So now I've got this shirt or this little collar. I'm going to feed this right up to the vest. And I'm going to do the front right here with a knife. And then this other part here, I'm going to not do a triangle, but I'm going to kind of roll it a little bit so it's a relaxed shirt, not a stiff collared shirt. So same thing with this side. So I've got a straight edge there and then round this just a tad bit. Relaxed collar. So I'm going to do the sides of this with my V-tool, and I'm going to grab this is a smaller V-tool, and just push that up. Okay, so now I need to work on the vest. And the vest is going to go underneath this collar and come out this way right here. And the vest will come out. Let's make it a little bit lower, just about right there. And the vest is the whole thing in the back, but I'm going to separate these arms. Let me draw the, let's do this first. So it's got some sleeves. The sleeve will come right here. Let's make sure they end up the same on this side. Looks close. So let's go ahead and cut this. We're going to do both lines with the V-tool. Do the same thing on this side. So this V-tool, I am angling it down so it's not cutting into the vest, it's cutting into the shirt. Okay, so now I'm going to taper this just slightly up underneath the shirt so the shirt sticks out further. And I'm going to, you've got this forearm right here that's really big now, so let's trim this up a little bit. And so with this elbow, I'm going to leave the elbow out here at a point, and then I'm going to chamfer it from there. So the elbow becomes a thing. So it's still kind of big, but we'll cut the back side of this arm, move material from the inside here. I took a whole bunch there, so it gave me a big arm, and then I'm gonna roll it away from the elbow. You stop, cut around this sleeve here. Kind of work this. Getting this elbow to bend right where I want it. So that arm's there. Okay. But the forearm is still huge. That look okay. Some of this is just shaping as you go. Okay, so that one will work. I can stop cut for this vest on this side. Come right around underneath it. I'm going to stop right here and do that with a knife, so it matches the angle as it curves. Does the same thing on the other side. So there we go. Some of this I'm watching and I'm just trying to texture this and leave it as a finished surface so that I don't have to come back and it's got some interest with the knife. So some of this is not cuts, it's, I mean, not shaping cuts, it's cleanup cuts. I've got all these different angles coming together. So just making clean cuts. That one didn't come out. There you go. Okay. So I'm going to do the pants in here. Just, he's got his hands in the pants, but this vest is coming over. So let's do the pant line just a little bit higher. That's kind of real high. Let's drop it and go across. Okay, so I'm just going to do a stop cut right here. Remove the material from the pants. So I'm also going to do a stop cut down the side of the vest and remove material just up against it. Same thing on this side. I want these shirt to round up underneath the pants and not be a square edge, so it breaks up that plane. So I'm taking a corner off of each side. There you go. Let's give this a little bit of movement here. So he's got his neck showing back here. That's what it is. So let's give him a neck. It's not a collar, it's a neck. So I'm just gonna take a little V-tool here. There you go. Okay, I'm gonna round this edge, just soften it a little bit with a knife so it's not a hard hard edge. And we're gonna do some, fix the collar. So this shirt's gonna come this way and down, and then this will be the edge where the buttons are, right here. So we're gonna separate the two sides of the collar right here. And bring this, let me do it with a V tool, micro V. So, and I'm gonna use my, let's use the number 6. I'm gonna put some wrinkle lines like it was tucked up a little bit underneath that vest. And we'll do some wrinkle lines coming across the vest too. That are created from his hands there in the pockets. Okay, so that gave it a little bit of movement by doing that and livened up some things that were just plain. Okay, so I need to add, before I do the belt hidden in here, this one has a cuff. These arms are a lot smaller, so I'm not gonna put that cuff on there, but it would have a cuff right there. Okay, so let's add a belt. So I'm gonna do a little center line here, and I'm gonna do a square or a rectangle where the belt is right there. And this belt's gonna have a buckle or an opening, and I did a little clasp in there too, but I'm not gonna do that on this one. Okay, so that'll be the belt right there. I'm going to stop cut around this whole circle here. And I'm going lightly. The knife is sharp, I'm going lightly. If you push this down, being small, you can gunk it up pretty quick and dent the wood. I want to drag this knife. I'm not pushing the knife into it, I'm just dragging it across, scoring that line. I'm gonna start with cutting the corners. So the corners have stop cuts on both sides. If I just take a chip out of each corner, it should help me. And actually, depending on how good your chips are, that could be enough, but I'm gonna go ahead and go down that whole line. There you go. Okay, now I'm gonna do this outer edge. Stop cut. Stop cut, stop cut. Now here with those cuts, you really want to make sure that you're going straight up and down and not to an angle, because you'll end up cutting into that belt buckle. Okay, so now I need a couple belt loops. I'm going to make this go underneath that vest just a tad bit more. Just getting a little interest in this vest. Okay, so from here, we need to do the belt loops. So I'm going to come down right here and do 2 little lines. I'm going to stop cut this. I'm going to remove the material on this side. Remove the material on this side. And these are longer than they would be on a normal pair of pants, but I want them to be visible, so I'm gonna do same thing on the other side. And actually, before I do that, I'm gonna chamfer this edge so it's not a hard edge. And I make sure and do that on most of my edges. It just makes it a better look when we're done. So, and I want this to be about the same distance. This one looks like it's a tad bit over, so let me square this up just like I did the other side first. And that's a good key there is before you start putting details on it, make sure the surface is the right surface so that you've got the shape you want. It's a little bit easier to do that before you get the detail on there than it is afterwards, trying to manipulate all that detail. Okay, so I've given it a little bit more wrinkles up in there too. I'm going to give it that belt loop coming down probably about the same there, or not probably, definitely. And do this belt loop here. Stop cutting both sides while I'm here, and then removing the material up against it. This one's going to come from this direction because of the grain, and then up here because of the grain. And let's soften this edge. Soften this edge. Okay, now I can put this belt in here. On the belt, I don't want it just as wide. I want the belt buckle to be a little bit longer, so I'm going to come up just a little bit shallow. And if this was an actual belt, I might come down a little bit from the top of the pants and show a little bit of pants here, but with the size of this, I'm just not going to mess with that. So I'm just going to do the bottom of the belt loop, the bottom of the belt, and call it a day. So I'm just scoring that, moving a little bit of material. Okay, now I've got this line here where the belt loop was, and then this line from the belt. So I'm going to remove a triangle from that corner right there. And that just gives me a little bit of interest and makes that detail really visible. And I can do it on the back side. I only have a little bit of belt that's going to show here, but still removing that little triangle there makes all the elements pop out. And you can do the same thing here on the this edge. And a little bit of shadow line helps that work a lot. Now, if it was a cowboy or something like that, we might even put a tail here on the belt so that it comes down here, but this guy is not that big of a deal. So do the same thing that we did on that side, on this side. And you notice when I'm doing the stop cut, I'm turning around, so I'm not cutting into that belt buckle, although I am going to round off the corners a little bit so it looks a little bit more natural. So I'm going to remove the material. I go up against that stop cut. Move the triangles from the corners. And then I don't think I need to do anything on this side really. And then that's that there. So let's run the V tool on this side here. And this is just the seam where the buttons will go. These lines crisp. So that looks pretty good there. I want to put a little bit of a wrinkle on the pants, put a little bit of wrinkle back here. This has a little bit of, okay, so what we got going on here is the vest does not go all the way. So we're going to stop the vest a little bit short. And so I'm going to use a V tool to do that. Let's use this micro guy. So we'll have a little bit of shirt showing out the back side. That's a good detail to use. Okay, and then I want a good stop cut here, especially because when I paint, that'll stop the paint from going onto the belt. I'm just removing a little bit of material underneath that. So I'm gonna make this this line here where the arm is. I don't want it to be a straight line, so I'm putting a little movement in this in that angle. And these two, I don't want them to be square, so I'm gonna round and put some movement in that shirt. Okay, so see this right here, that's what I'm talking about. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So I've kind of already got a stop cut here, so I'm just putting some swoop cuts in here so that they don't, this line doesn't stay even down the whole thing. Just making it smooth as I go, so. Okay, so let me give this a little bit of shape to it. Okay, same thing that we did on the other side here, except I've got this area here that looks like it's bandsaw. I think I've gone over it, but it's just too clean. Okay, so same thing that we did on the other side, we're going to add the belt loops. Make sure our area is perfect before we add those. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to add some belt loops here. I'm going to do one here, one here, one here, and one here. And I'm starting with the belt loops because it's layered, you know, so the belt loops are taller than the belt. So I want them to stand out, so I'm cutting the belt loops. Soften the edges. So I mean, it's not a V cut, but you are carving both edges. So I'm just carving the belt side deeper and then just removing a little bit of edge there. And it does take the pencil line off too, so 2 birds with 1 stone. And then let's get our belt. Let's draw this sucker on here. So you'll see that's the line that the belt should be at as it comes across the whole thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and score this. And just remove a little bit of material. And when I get to these corners here, I'm going to push it in a little bit deeper. Remove a triangle. Same thing on this side. Triangle. 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 Okay, so there's the belt. Let's I'm gonna do a couple little wrinkle lines as it comes up underneath in these arms. Okay, now let's work on the pants here. I got a little bit of cleanup to do on the face as well. Yeah, but that's taking away my jawline, so I need to make sure I get my jawline back. There you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on these pant legs a little bit. I'm gonna have a little bit of movement coming from the crotch area, and then I want to put a little bit of a movement underneath the pockets here. Same thing on this side. Okay, so now I'm going to add some wrinkles here. Let's come down from the crotch area and kind of roll this to the back of the leg. Same thing on this side. And I'm going to use the V tool coming around the back. Breaking up the profile. Doesn't take a whole lot. Okay, so I'm going to do some buttons. These are just burns, so I'm just going to mark them here. And do a button there, and a button there. I need to do the feet, so I'm going to do about the edge of this pants here. I'm going to come down here and do a stop cut there. Remove the triangle for the heel. I'm going to take this rocket across do the other side. I can see where that is here, so I'm going to do that one right here. This shoe here, so it goes like this. And when it reaches that heel, it's going to go up. Same thing here. Okay, so with this, that one's just a U gouge. So I've got the 4mm U. I'm gonna start about here and just roll it along that line. Get the other side here. Okay, and this one has a little bit of a toe. Do that with the V. So there's one little detail on the shoe that I don't know if you can see on the camera. I got stitching. He's got stitching around the toes, around the sole, about right here. So, and what that is, let's see, and I don't think I used it anywhere else on here. Nope. Okay, so that is a seam tool, and this is a sewing seam tool, and they come in different sizes. space out stitches. This one's really tight and small, and that's the one I use probably the most. And I'm just going to run this down this seam and push it into the wood. And I don't know if you can see that, but it makes a little bit of stitches around the feet. It also works good too if you want to run, you know, like I've done let's see, like on this guy here, on the overalls, I've got stitches coming down the sides of the whatchamacallits, and then right here on the seams, and then even in this hole here, and then up the back here and all this. So, I mean, it's a useful tool, and they're not expensive. And you just got to make sure not to put paint too heavy, you know, so that it hides all the details. But if you're using washes or so, that'll work. But all I have left really on here is the hair. So I'm going to take a little V tool and get going on the hair. Before I start, though, I'm going to add a little hair to the eyebrows. I'm going to make sure the eyebrows are the same on each side. So I'm just going to add a little bit of something to grab some paint when I paint it. So I mean, that's about it on the side there. Just a little bit of interest, and then I can go ahead and do the rest of the hair. So I'm doing these little strokes, just poking through the wood. And I'm going to angle this back a little bit. So when you start this hair, you want to make sure and have a direction of where you're going to go, and it's got to look natural. I mean, this hair's not going to go this way, it's going to go out this way, and even this. I mean, you got to, you know, up and down works here, but I kind of like it out the side on here, like he's a little bit wind blown. And I'm not trying to do even strokes across the whole thing. I'll break it up and stop and come back and get a different rhythm so it lays down a little bit different as I go. And this is little tiny stuff here, so I'm just chipping away at it and then doing another row, working it back. And then you can come back here and change directions and come up this way too. I think I still have a little bit more to go this way first, but then you can come back here and change directions. So it's getting there, a little bit at a time. But as I work around here, it's coming up, swinging it around a little bit more so that it comes down the back and doesn't get too cross-grainy. And I'm talking about cross-grain of the hair direction, not cross-grain of the wood. So, and this one's good because it's going to go right into that neckline, so I don't really have to worry about breaking up the neckline or breaking up the hairline at the neck. He's got his head kind of back into that line there. I do still want to clean this up though. So I can probably cut it here, and you guys got the idea on the hair. Just a little bit more to go anyway though, but it's looking good. So that's pretty much Wally. Not too far off the original. I mean, they're never gonna be identical, especially when you're trying to carve it on camera. One thing I do notice is I'm a lot higher in the crotch here than I am here, and I'm gonna fake that out a little bit. And I always do this with a just with a V tool, and just bring that line up just a little bit. And it doesn't take cutting through. All you're doing is just bringing that up just a tad bit. So that looks a lot better. His pants aren't as saggy as they were a minute ago. So there he goes. I mean, that's Wally, and he'll be ready for the next Wonders in Wood when it comes up. But I might list them on Etsy later as soon as I get them painted and worked up and cleaned up. But if you haven't checked out my Etsy, I just started listing some things there again, and it's been a while since I've put anything up there. But my shelves are just getting crazy overload here, so I'm going to be adding quite a bit of things on there because I don't have room to store them anymore. But if you're interested, hit me up for this guy. He'll probably, I don't know what I'm going to charge for him. We'll see how he turns out when I paint him. But here he is, Wonders in Wood Wally. And guys, if you like the content here, remember to like and subscribe. Sorry about the couple minutes that it got cut off, but we'll hopefully you got it straight. So thank you guys. Have a good day.